Society is filled with people on the sidelines taking shots at successful people. It's so easy. Yet no, it's not. It's hard.
And again, I don't want to make a molehill into a mountain, but he's making a bunch of excuses for Deion. And then he frames up, a lot of people are rooting against Deion. And that's a criticism that's been leveled at me all football season, that I'm rooting against Deion Sanders. I think Colin is saying that in a calculated way to say, yeah, Whitlock's rooting against Deion Sanders. I'm sure Colin was, no, I'm talking about somebody else. Who, I don't know, but somebody else. But there's been one person that's been out here going at Deion hard all football season. Everybody knows who it is. I've been proven right. And then so I want to play this second clip from Cowherd, and this is in the same segment where he circles back and, subtweets me again.
Society is filled with people on the sidelines taking shots at successful people. It's so easy. Yet no, it's not. It's hard. Nick Saban built a powerhouse. They weren't winning back-to-back. It's hard. NIL, transfer portals made it even harder. It's easy to sit on the sidelines and take shots at Deion Sanders. But September Colorado was a lot of fun. I thought they'd get dragged by TCU, and they went to Texas and blew them out. But Deion is realizing the realities of college football. Brian Kelly is an excellent coach. Half the fan base wants him gone. Ryan Day is an excellent coach. Dabo Swinney's an excellent coach. Nobody's ever happy. Mario Cristobal's at a better program than Deion. He's 500 after 2 years at Miami. Nebraska's a better program than Colorado. Matt Rule went 5-7. September, we all got a little over our skis. We got into the hype. It's okay. You fall in love with a lot of things. People, teams, players, businesses, opportunities. It's okay. Go ahead, be grumpy. Never fall in love with anything. September football for Deion was a blast. I loved it. I thought it was crazy. Surprised the heck out of me. But then reality set in. The Colorado players decommitting. So what? Players decommit from Nick Saban, Ryan Day, Dabo Swinney, Lincoln Riley. Players decommit all the time. Players have never been more empowered. What I find with Deion is a lot of people are just rooting against him. And you're all experts now. I told you it was hype. So what if it was? Sometimes hype is fun. That's okay. We all fall for something at some time in our life. I'm rooting for Deion. But it is Colorado football. Let's temper our enthusiasm. If he gets them to a 500 program, that's pretty good for Colorado football. When he first got hired, I thought it was weird. A day later, made some calls, thought, well, he'll get attention. That part you can't deny. None of us have ever discussed Colorado football more than now.
So obviously there's factual errors in that in terms of they didn't blow out TCU. They got lucky and beat them by 2 or 3 points, but that's nitpicking. Obviously, what bothered me is the people on the sidelines. It's easy for them to sit on the sidelines and criticize successful people. And I get it. I'm out here wrestling with Stephen A. Smith, wrestling with Shannon Sharp, wrestling with Dan Le Batard, and now today I'm wrestling with Colin Cowherd. And these guys all have a different definition of success than I do. I'll let you be the judge of who's got the proper definition of success. I'm not mad at them for their definition of success. Their definition of success is all about the bag and all about money. Not knocking it. I've been a tiny bit in that mind space, in that head space that they are. But if you look at me and look at the decisions I've made, and if you trust what I've been telling you and what I feel like I've been demonstrating to you with my actions, I have a completely different definition of success. And that goes all the way back to my childhood when I had dreams as a little kid of like, hey, one day, and again, I used to have these dreams, and I've feel like I've misinterpreted those dreams, feel like I didn't have the right reading of those dreams. But I used to dream about like, hey, man, you're going to follow in Martin Luther King's footsteps, and you're going to say powerful things about America and race relationships and elevating people's understanding of the racial dynamics and racial issues. That was my dream as a kid. And so when I got into this business, it was never about making money. I've shared with you all when I was a student at Ball State, I thought about, man, I'm going to make $70,000 a year time I'm 40 years old. And wow, that's going to be amazing. And I really did those were my dreams. And so I fell into a level of financial success in my 20s and 30s and 40s that I never imagined. And I think my actions have pretty much indicated that I never imagined them and I never prioritized it to the point that I would ever compromise off of my real dream. My goal, what I wanted to be successful at, is having conversations and elevating people's understanding of the racial dynamics that have plagued America. That's what success looks like to me. And so I've made decisions in my career to exit corporate media because I don't think you can have those conversations within corporate media. I think you're forced to lie. I think you're forced to be dishonest. I think you're forced not to tell the audience the truth. And that's what we're looking at here as it relates to Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders came out the gate at Colorado saying things that were crazy, including his day one press conference that he filmed where he's basically telling those guys hit the transfer portal. And then after that first game, when he starts beating the desk and I make white people uncomfortable and they don't want to see a black man, I was like, whoa, there are things I wanted to say about Deion Sanders that cannot be said in corporate media, not in real time. You know how I know that? Because none of this was pointed out in corporate media when Deion was making these obvious mistakes and saying these obviously inappropriate things. People weren't able to criticize him. And even now to this day, that it's blown up in everyone's face, Colin Cowherd is rationalizing it. Well, as long as he gets to 500, that's amazing. No one's ever talked about Colorado the way they are today. Colin Cowherd's older than me. He's been in this sports world, in this sports lane, longer than I have. This just isn't true. Colorado won a national championship under Bill McCartney. Colorado had, I was a sports writer when Mizzou played Colorado and they had the flea kicker game or the fifth down game and all this other stuff to where Colorado's been in the national discussion with Bill McCartney and they were in the national discussion with Gary Barnett. And so this whole, if they could just get to 500, that'll be success. Why would they accept that? They've had more than that in the 1990s. They had more than that in the 2000s. It's not an impossibility. We've seen coaches do it. So here's my other issue with Cowherd and why this whole thing surprises me is because Cowherd, and again, this is why I left corporate media. Because, again, you can't be honest. And so the things that Cowherd used to do and what made him a great broadcaster and the best sports radio talk show host in America at one time, He can't do those things any longer. Because I can remember celebrating Cowherd. Remember Cowherd's take on Russell Westbrook when everybody was celebrating Russell Westbrook and the triple doubles and he's MVP? Cowherd called BS on all of that in real time. While everybody else was running off celebrating Russell Westbrook, Cowherd stood out on an island and was like, man, this dude, he ain't a winner. He's a head case, and he doesn't play the right way. And Cowherd was proven to be accurate on that. And you know who one of the few people in the national media or in the media at all that would celebrate and talk about that? Was Jason Whitlock. Man, Cowherd, you were way out in front. I didn't see that coming. No one saw that coming. That took a pair for you to stand out there and call out Russell Westbrook. Man, that's incredible. I used to say that and still stand on that. Say it all the time. Celebrate it. Man, and I didn't see it coming. I was late to the party, blah, blah, blah. Celebrate it. Cowherd, Baker Mayfield. Everything that I'm being accused of doing to Deion Sanders, Cowherd was accused of doing to Baker Mayfield. He's not quarterbackio. I don't like, and this is when Baker Mayfield was a college kid. This won't fly in the NFL. He stood out on that island. People criticized Cowherd. Oh, you're just raining on Baker Mayfield. He's going to win the Heisman Trophy. He's this, he's that. Cowherd, this is personal. And then Cowherd's like, no, this is what I see. And he was right. And I celebrated him for that. It's what made him great. But this corporate media thing and this love of money and this desire to be popular over social media, you can't be honest in corporate media. And it enrages people that, and it does. I'm not saying they're jealous. I'm not saying that because, again, they have a different set of priorities and an agenda than me. They want to be super rich. They want to be super popular in the culture. They want people, when they show up somewhere, they want people to smile and be happy to see them. Those aren't my priorities. But they're bothered that I continue to sit out here and be like, you know what? My priority is I got to be able to say what I really believe, and I got to be able to talk about what I really want to talk about. And I'm standing out here, and I've called out Stephen A. Smith. I've called out Shannon Sharp. I've called out other people, and I'm calling out Cowherd. And it bothers them that I can be this kind of honest. And they don't, with all the money they got, they could be as honest as me. They've made plenty of money, but they're so addicted to money. So their reputations, their confidence is so attached to being celebrated in corporate spaces and have all that money that they just can't let it go. Like what you saw? Hit that like button, subscribe, and check out the full episode by clicking the link below.